Okay, let's say you don't have variable speed. Getting something balanced can help you tremendously. I've got my plate. I've got 7 inches right here. So this is just to give me a reference. And I'm going to use a paddle bit to mark the center. Once I've got the center marked, I'm going to take my drive center, place it on the mark, and then I'm going to take a wooden mallet. Never hit this with metal. I always like to use a wooden mallet. It's good. So you want to make sure you set those teeth on that drive center in there good enough that you can that it will not slip out, or you'll have to take it back off and re-drive it on there while turning. Alright, the next thing is take your blank, slide it into the headstock, hold it firmly, and then bring your tailstock in and just let it barely touch. Now I'm going to release my belt so that any resistance or tension on the motor pulley will not hinder this from spinning to the heavy side. And what you want to do is you want to get this thing where it will sit at any point you turn it and not want to counter react. So now I know, and this is going to be a little more of a difficult piece given the height right here on this side. It's going to make it weigh a lot more, and you need to also allow for water displacement, moisture within the wood. All those things will vary too. So once it stops, I'm going to back off the tailstock. I'm going to raise the blank up just a little bit, and then just barely run the tailstock back in. You don't want to run a lot right here because you don't want to make a big indentation in the wood and then have to move it just a little bit more. That may affect where you're able to get your tailstock at. So you can see it's still weighing heavy this side. So this time I'm going to back my tailstock up and I'm going to make a bigger movement this time, and then I'm going to check it there. Alright, you can see it moved a little bit there. So I'm getting closer. Now I'm going to move it just a little bit more this time. Run the tailstock back in and see where I'm at. And that's how I balance my bows. You can see it's still wanting to turn a little bit, and that's expected given with a live edge bow you may have a higher side than the other, and but you can see it is not spinning nowhere like it was to start with. Now what I like to do is I'll turn that tailstock in just enough to make a good indentation. I'll back it out, holding my thumb on the little mark. I'll use a paddle bit. Now when you use a drill bit, you may want to use a Forstner bit so that you don't have this long indentation here that you have with a paddle bit. Because you can see on the drive center you don't have, it's not a large point. So a Forstner bit will probably be more suitable for this. But nonetheless, this will work. You just get that point in the center. Tap the drive center in. And then what I'm doing is I'm putting it back on the lathe backwards from what I did this first time. This is because, and then I'll just take the tailstock and line it right up into the mark that the drive center was in a second ago. The reason I do this is because I turn just about all of my bowls in between center, and I'm just simply trying to get it balanced, and then once I get my mark, then I know where to drill my hole at for the drive center. My bowls, when I turn them, now I'll begin to get a flat edge right here and then start working it out, and that'll give it a nice slope in the bowl. And then I've got room over here now, instead of trying to get your tools over here close to the drive center and around the headstock, I've got more room to get the tool in over here and cut a tenon that will hold the bowl in place when I flip it around and begin to hollow it out.